Hello and welcome everyone to the start of a new series here where I am building Hogwarts in Lego. And as you can see, it is pretty big, and that is the goal. I'm trying to recreate Hogwarts in as close to minifig scale as I can, and I wanted to go ahead and show off the progress that I've made so far. So this is actually the entrance courtyard that attaches to the Great Hall and the entrance hall over this way, but this is what I started with. And as you can see, I've got most of the walls up so far around the outer edge. And I've started the tile work in the middle, but that still has a ways to go. I'm tripping over Lego here. My Lego room is a complete disaster right now, as is always the case when you're building something. I got a ton of these 2x2 dark tan tiles from a Lego Pick-a-Brick wall. I got like 2 cups, so hopefully that will get me through this, and I'll have some left over for a future part of the build. The goal here is to actually build the entire castle, which is going to be quite the undertaking, as Hogwarts is actually really big. And it should be a pretty extensive and expensive project. But yeah, this is what we have going on so far. So a few things is that one of my main goals is accuracy with this build. And so I've been trying my best to duplicate the looks and not take any shortcuts. However, these windows here were very difficult to mimic what the official one looks like, mostly because the official one has like all these little like spindly bits up here at the top. So in order to kind of replicate that, I just used this pre-molded window frame piece because it has some of the spindles, and I think it looks close enough. Obviously on the reference photos for Hogwarts, all 3 of these little windows are the same size, and because I was working with a 6 stud wide window, that wasn't really possible, so I ended up having to make the middle one a little bit bigger, but I think it still captures the look well enough, and I'm really pleased with how this came out. And so the roof part here is what I'm currently working on. I actually borrowed this roof design from, I believe it is Cheesy Studios on YouTube. I think he was actually on the Lego Master Show as well. Excuse me. And so these roof pieces are actually not attached to anything. They're just like laying in top here, and I'm using like a brick and some cheese slopes here for some support. And so those will kind of just like line the way here, if I can get it to go back in correctly. And then this corner design is just wedge plates with some bricks and plates like sloping down here. These are attached underneath with a jumper piece, so that way it's solid and it's in there. But yeah, so here's a minifig of Harry Potter, just to kind of give you some scaling about how it looks and the sizing of everything. But this is what I've got so far with just the courtyard. My next project is I'm working on this entryway here, and it's proving to be really difficult because there's so many arches and unique shapes that it makes it really hard to recreate in Lego. So I'm still working out ideas. I don't have anything solid just yet, but this part like forms like a small arch here, and then it shoots like way up for like a really large arch with like the clock part in the middle. I've got some plates stuck there just for the doors, just for reference. These doors are super tall. They're probably going to be like twice as tall by the time this thing is done. But just for some reference and frame of mind, I like to have some things like that sticking in so that I have like ideas in my head as I'm building this thing. This right here is going to be the entry hall. So like I'll have the statue of the architect of Hogwarts here. This will be a little window. And then this part right here is going to be the large entryway that leads into the Great Hall, which is over here. I haven't really done much work over here yet. I've mostly just got the subfloor in, because all this is elevated by like 1 brick and 1 plate height. That way I could get the steps here as accurate as possible. And if you'll notice, I'm also leaving like a lot of open studs. This isn't going to be all tile, just because I'm not sure where the minifigs are going to go or like what scene I'm going to like recreate here. So I wanted to have some open studs just to leave myself options, because the last thing you want to do is have to rip up an entire tile floor just to reposition some minifigs. So I'm leaving some studs open for that. I had to start the part of the entry hall walls here just because this wall is attached to this little entryway with the arches, just for stability's sake. So I ended up having to start part of this. This is the hallway that will lead off into the grand staircase tower, which is going to sit like right here. So I've started that, and I've got the arches up for this little doorway here. Over here will be the Great Hall, and very, very little progress has been made so far on the Great Hall. I'm taking a bit of a different approach. Most of the Hogwarts mocks and Great Hall mocks that I've seen have been, the standard Great Hall setting, like a sorting ceremony or a feast, where they have 4 tables in the middle, and then the teacher's table up front, and then they populate it with figs. I was going to do that originally, but the scale didn't allow me to get the tables the correct sizing that I wanted and still have enough space for minifigs to walk. So I kind of scrapped that idea, and I'm actually doing the Yule Ball scene, which I'm pretty excited about. I haven't seen anyone do a large-scale Yule Ball mock, so that's what I'm trying to do here. The problem, however, is that the Yule Ball is like a Christmassy, wintry wonderland, and so the color scheme needs to be different than, just the basic tan, dark tan stuff that the rest of the castle and interiors of the castle are going to use. Now, I have a ton of tan parts, but I didn't have any of the other colors for the interior of the Great Hall, so I'm waiting on most of those to come in. I have quite a few, but I'm still missing some sand blue. I think the colors that are going to work out best are, like for the floor work, I'm using light bluish gray, and then this is sand blue. And then the walls are going to be a mixture of sand blue, bright light blue, and then light bluish gray. So I got some masonry bricks and stuff in there. And then these container pieces are dark bluish gray. They didn't make them in the lighter colors, so color selection on those was limited. Normally these would be like reddish brown or something if I was doing the Great Hall, like in the classic view of the Great Hall that you always see. But as you can see, I've got some tile work done. I have a prototype for the table. I basically just enlarged the tables that they used from some of the official sets, like the Clock Tower set, where the Yule Ball was actually made in Lego form from Lego. But I basically just made this bigger and have all the glassware and stuff. There's going to be, I think, 6 of these. That's just a prototype. Not sure if it's going to stay that way. And then I've also started working out spacing for the Christmas trees. There are 3 large Christmas trees. Well, 1 really big Christmas tree that'll be here in the middle, and then 2 slightly smaller ones that are going to be on either side. And I'm just working out some spacing and some Christmas tree designs for how that's going to be. But yeah, so this will be the Yule Ball. And since Lego has made actually quite a few of the Harry Potter characters in their Yule Ball robes and outfits, I think it should lend itself nicely. And then I'll have to make some custom figs to fill in the gaps for other students and, the ones that Lego didn't officially make. I have a prototype actually for the Yule Ball, and I'll see if I can spin around here. Just pardon the mess. This is going to be a little bit more about what the interior will look like for the Great Hall. I'm going to have like some snowbanks and snow drifts up along the wall, some white for icicles and snow hanging down, and a little bit better picture of the color scheme on this side over here. Excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with me today. But yeah, so this is the prototype that will carry over. I always like to prototype things, just that way I can test out ideas and kind of figure out what parts I need before I fully commit to building something, and then, end up with the wrong parts or the wrong colors, and that way I'm not happy with it. So, but most of the work, like I said, has occurred on this courtyard, and as you can see, it's starting to look pretty good. It's really coming together, I think. The walkway is 6 studs wide, so 8 total because each of the outer and inner walls are just one row of bricks thick. And then I built these arches along the outside as best I could to mimic, the set photos. So for reference, I'm using screenshots from the films, and the overall castle is the London model that's at the making of Harry Potter studio, because that's the one they actually used for the movies to get wide angle shots and stuff like that. So that is the version of the castle that I'm trying to build. And overall, like I said, accuracy is most important to me. So I'm trying to get the proportions and the scaling as correct as I can. And it's actually really difficult. So what I've decided to do is I have a lot of Harry Potter sets, as you can see. I have everything from 2018 to present, as well as several of the older stuff down there. But side point. So I have the large Hogwarts castle that came out in 2018. And I think LEGO did a really good job of capturing that iconic front view. And so that's what I'm trying to really focus on is getting that exact look, just in larger form with more details. So what I've decided to do is I'm using the scale of this castle on a 4:1 basis. So I'm basically enlarging what they've done times 4. So if something is, for example, like if something is 10 studs wide, mine will be 40. If something is 10 bricks tall, mine will be 40, and so on. That way I can hopefully use that to get the angles and stuff correct. The real challenge will be when I get to the other parts of the castle that were not included with this set, because this set is probably only about maybe a quarter to a third of the castle. And so I will have to, figure out some way to build the rest of it and get it all scaled as proper as I can. But by building it in a larger scale, it allows me to get more detail in, like especially around the doors. I can make this more accurate with like these columns and things that are in the official photos from the movie, but the scaling will be correct because I'm translating it from the one that LEGO did. But yeah, this is what I have so far. Let me know what you think. And like I said, I just wanted to show it off, what I've done so far, because I'm really proud of this courtyard and these walls that I have up, even though I still have a very, very long ways to go. But like I said, this will be a series that I'm going to do. I'm probably going to post videos sporadically. Try and do one every few weeks. Just that way I can update the progress and also hold myself accountable to make sure that I'm making progress and I don't just let this thing sit for months on end while I'm waiting to be inspired again. And yeah, you guys are welcome to follow along. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see the next updates and follow the progress of this soon-to-be massive minifig scale Hogwarts built entirely out of LEGO. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.